So like the team looks like this. These are all the moves on today's team that features Kanto Rapidash. And remember what I was talking about? I was talking about like what makes a team a hyper-aggressive team. You can see we have 3 weaknesses to fire here on Zacian, Wims, and Venusaur. A lot of people would think about maybe using like Charizard instead of the Venusaur. It would give ground immunity, which we have also 3 of, and it would just make the team a little bit more well-rounded. It would cut 3 of our weaknesses to being both like fire and ground in certain situations to 2, and it would be pretty good. But I think the fact that we have all these weaknesses, we can tunnel our opponent into bringing exactly what we want them to bring. We want them to bring Incineroar so we can destroy them with things like Kyogre, Regieleki, and bait them with Ally Switch Rapidash. We want them to bring things like Groudon so we can beat them with Kyogres, so we can beat them with Venusaurs, so we can, you know, correctly use our eject button tech on our Whimsicott, because 90% of the Groudons you're ever going to fight are going to be Assault Vests, so they can't protect, so they're an easy target to waste their Dynamax. So we're lulling our opponents into these false senses of security, and then from there, we're able to execute our game plan. We're able to steal 1 or 2 turns, maybe waste their Dynamax turns, and turn even losing matches into winning matches. So that's what we're kind of working on with this. And hopefully it works. I think Rapidash is a pretty cool mon that you don't normally see all that often. And I was just looking through my boxes. That's the thing. I always do this. Whenever I'm looking for a team, I just start looking through my boxes and I see like, oh, that's a cool Pokemon. How do I build around that? And I add 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon. I really wanted to use some eject button switcheroo tech today, so I just went to my boxes, saw what got quick attack. Rapidash got it, Zacian got it, and I was able to be like, oh, cool, that's what we're going to do. So we can go eject button switcheroo on not only Rapidash, but Zacian, and if we're afraid of fire attacks on either of those sides, we can ally switch the Rapidash and then get flash fire boosts and waste your opponent's time, and from there just win the game. So hopefully everything works out. It will, by the way. You guys can see that this is a screenshot, and that is because I played all of the games that I'm going to be showing with this team already. I played the 5 or 6 games, and the reason I did it like that was I had some extra time yesterday, and I just wanted to listen to music and play VGC, and I ended up like actually recording some really good games with this team, and so I wanted to show them off because I think it really does show the type of things you can make possible by making a team that baits your opponent in a very specific play style. One of the cool things about our team, again, is the fact that we have like 3 fire weaknesses with a flash fire mon. We also have 3 ground weaknesses. Those bait a certain type of opponent, while also noting that we don't have a fake out user, and that's deliberate. Not having a fake out user lets your opponent just feel like they can lead with almost anything. And so if they can lead with almost anything, but they have a preference for also leading with Pokemon that have fire and ground attacks, we can know what 4 they're going to bring from the team preview. And like I was talking about earlier, that can turn a losing matchup into a winning one. Getting your opponent to kind of go on a little bit of autopilot and think that they can just roll you over because they have a better matchup and they have all the tools at their, in their hands to do whatever they want to do. It really lets us kind of wrap them around our finger and just win. Sorry, I'm still trying to wake up. It's still early. Dark Nebula, yo, dropping the sub. 11 months sub. 11 months sub. Can we put some subs up? Let's put some rave subs up today. Rave subs up today, indeed. But yeah, like I said, I recorded the games, and if you guys don't like the recordings, just let me know. I like the recordings because I can pause them, I can talk about them. I think we're better able to like analyze why. Yo, I love seeing all the subs in the chat. You guys are amazing. I think we're better able to analyze, and also this helps me play better. I think I play a lot better when I'm recording instead of having to like talk about exactly what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I don't have to worry about snipers, and so I feel like the quality of the games are just a little bit better, but some of the hype moments can be left. You know, this isn't something I do every day, but you know, I think it's worth it every once in a while. Yeah, it's nice that you can stop and talk, take a sip of my drink, and we can do whatever. So, again, we're going to go into this first game. Mercury, how's it going, friend? Yo, this is like 11 o'clock for you. This is a good time, probably. Probably the good time. So, we're talking about what this team brings to the table. And, again, we can bait them. We know for a fact, right, they're going to want to bring that Rotom. Just because Rotom's really good here. Like, fire types are good versus this team, especially fire types that low-key have a secondary type that might be able to do work against like Kyogre. Rotom's pretty good against Lecky, pretty good against Venu. So I think that they're definitely going to bring Rotom. they obviously want to bring the restricteds. So then that gets me thinking, are you going to be bringing Feeny, Nihilego, or Grim? I'd probably be bringing the Grim here if I was looking at like what other Mon I might want to bring. I think the Feeny might come, but a mixture of like double grass type of Lecky Zacian might be able to scare away the Feeny. Can't get tilted with the Cordings. Yes, that's right. So we're going into this. And again, this is the first game that we're going to be playing with this team. And hopefully it's a good one, right? Hopefully it's a good one. Again, this is the big Kanto Rapidash energy. Fake out Grim? It might be. So, Kali Solgaleo. And so, the second you see something like a Kali Solgaleo, also Makiri getting gifted a sub by Schmitty. Oh my gosh. About to head to bed, to be honest. Just got done doing everything I need to do for the night. Yo, thank you so much for getting a sub, Makiri. Makiri is one of the amazing OGs of this channel from back in the Sun and Moon days. So, I'm sure they appreciate it. And, yo, we're almost on a hype train. Choo-choo. But the second you see this lead right here, right? The thing that should be going through your head is like, why would they go Shadow Rider? Like, what is the goal here? Are they going to use Bulldoze? I think it probably does get Brutal Swing, but like Bulldoze would be able to like break Sash here. You could finish this off here. And then even if I had something I could go for with Ogre, like Kyogre doesn't really care that much. Sorry, Sogo doesn't really care that much if it maxes. And so you can see in our situation here, if we know they're going to Policy Proc, which is definitely a possibility in the situation. Like, I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm definitely thinking about it. And I think do I just protect my Ogre this turn? Or do I just do something different? I think I was really thinking about it. There we go. You locked that one in. Dude, I was really thinking about it, or I forgot to press A, right? So they are going to be maxing the Solgaleo, and I think they are, like I said, going for the Policy Proc this turn. Which, you know, I'm sure you guys have all seen this sort of tech before. They Dynamax their own Mon. You give them the good old-fashioned eject button, right? And then when they go for the self-policy proc, it doesn't quite work out as planned. Yeah, I think a Protector is a good play. I don't want to eat an Astral or anything weird if that wasn't what they're going for. I really like this play, because if they also played defensive to stop the Kyogre, like let's say they went for like a Wide Guard Solgaleo and like an Astral, like realistically Kyogre's protecting there if Whimsicott were to live, I'd be able to then like Tailwind and Tailwind and just Dynamax my Kyogre, or even like Encore the Soul and like Wide Guard if they didn't max or something weird. So I feel like this was a good, solid defensive play. Didn't need to risk anything on the Kyogre. Remember, this isn't a vested Ogre. I can protect. I can do a couple other things. And if like they use the wrong move, like right now you saw that Kali, it used Bulldoze, right? So that means we could totally Encore it. Get that Soul out of here. Goodbye, Soul. Would Adamant Scarf Soul be any good? I don't think so. I actually don't think it would, realistically. But you can kind of see what we're doing here. It's like, what are you going to do, bro? Like, the degeneracy in this team. I would, like, what do we say? We made a losing matchup into a winning one, right? We turned a losing matchup into a winning one using, like, very, very cheese strats. We're using, like, eject button switcheroos. We haven't even attacked yet, and we've obviously won the game, because now they're stuck using Bulldoze, right? So, weaving in Encores, weaving in switcheroos, we're in just an absolutely amazing spot in this situation. And so, this is the type of VGC that, like, I like to play. The stuff that I enjoy playing the game for. I think it's really fun. Yeah, they get screens up, but, like, what do you do, right? I haven't even Dynamaxed. Like, I'm just big chilling out here. And so, we don't really have to do anything special. We just pop our Tailwind now, right? And just go for another Spout. Amazing how much more fun VGC is without Dynamax. Hey, you know what? They had it. I had to go out of my way to stop them from winning the game with Dynamax. Would Sableye do the same thing here as Whimsicott? Actually, it wouldn't. That's a good question, because Sableye, yes, it does get, like, the trick eject button, but it's faster. Sorry, it's slower than Whimsicott. So you wouldn't be able to pair your Mons correctly. Like, in this exact situation, yes, Sableye would be able to work, but it wouldn't be able to work in the grand scheme of, like, what I want this team to do, because I have 2 quick attack Mons on this team to be able to double up and capitalize immediately on top of it. All right, so they lose their Grim. I think they have to send their Shadow Rider back out, but remember, we're still in just, like, a really good spot, I think. I think we're still in a good spot. I think we did end up eating 1 Bulldoze on the Ogre, but I think that's still, like, low-key fine. And so I think we switch into... Do we switch anyone? So note that I still have, like, that weakness policy. Like, I wanted to see if I could get away with, like, how I would proc the weakness policy on something, being able to switch through to my teammate. I think I do that later on in the video. I feel like Sableye is more of a disruptor than overall support. Yeah, I would agree. It's a different Mom than Wims. It's like the in-between between like a Whims and like a Meowstic, kind of, I think. But, you know, it is what it is. I think we max here, right? Do I max? Or do I just protect? Oh, I'm like big chilling. And another protect. It's like, bro, the protect, though, that's just encore bait again. So we go for the protect here. I think they actually just go after the Whims, don't they? I'm trying to remember. We just go for a raw Deagleam. It doesn't really matter, because even if you got the KO here, I just would have brought out something that wasn't bulldozed. And let's see what they do. EQ, so it's not like they're going to be able to get anything done at all. Awesome, so no Zacian switching for me. Wish Meowstic was better. Prankster yawns sound broken. Meowstic's okay. It gets, like, weather screens, skill swap. So it's a cool mon. So yeah, you can just encore it up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The right play is to max here. I don't know why I'm not. It's fine. Just like, what else are we going to max? You know, we have Zacian in the back. Been using Sableye as Trick Iron Ball and Encore Fake Out Foul Play. They always respect the Sableye a lot, so I can move freely with the other mon. Yeah, I like Sableye a lot. It's one of my favorites. And, yeah. Big damage here. So, Kali goes down. Soul's stuck doing whatever, but, again, we're just in a fine spot here. It's probably the only good roleplay mon. Yeah, probably. Sableye's kind of busted. Oh my gosh. That did so much damage. Psychic Fang Solgaleo. Not today, though. Not at my house. I'm trying to remember if I... Yeah, there's the Rotom right there. Yeah, I knew they had it. So we were able to correctly analyze like what 4 they would be bringing to. And again, we kind of can tell what 4 they're going to be bringing based off of what like my 4 or my 6 say that they are. Yeah, Viper's actually really good. I think Prankster Soul Swap is slept on. Give bulky Recovermon the ability to priority recover. Yeah, turn a Sableye into a Mega Sableye. I'm kidding. But let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly how I close this game out. Do I think I just Opulse here? Alright, you only have 69 viewers. Pretty nice. That was an okay joke. Alright, so there's a Rapidash. Origin Pulse. Of course, we take the miss on the Rotom. Never lucky. Finish off the Solgaleo's nice. And again, we still have all the tools in the back to beat the Rotom if need be. Big T-Bolt. Rapidash is soaking it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Tail and Peter's out, but there's, again, not that much they can realistically do in this situation. And then I think, like, realistically, yeah, it doesn't really matter. We just wanted speed control and stuff like that to make so the Ogre could hit with one more pulse. And then we'd win. Easy peasy. Max Strike and Airstream are both really cool for, like, speed control and Rapidash, too. So, pretty good game. Didn't really get to use much of the Rapidash, but we were still able to win. And so you can see in this game, this is the next one that we're going to be going into, right? Yeah, Rapidash is cool. I think Rapidash is like a really, really fun mon to use. You don't really see it all that often. So this is another game. We're going to be going up against Indeedee Rilla. Indeedee Rilla with like Whims, Regidrago, Zacian, Kyogre. So in this situation, what do we think they're going to be bringing? I think there's a good chance we're going to see the Rilla, just because Rilla is almost required for a bunch of Zacian teams and Kyogre teams to beat other Kyogres. So we know they're going to want to bring Rilla. I don't think they bring the Regidrago, just because we have 2 fairies and a poison type, and a couple other things that can really be problematic for Regidrago. So probably not going to be Drago. They're probably going to bring both the restricted. So the question is, do they want Whims or Indeedee? And the correct answer is they could actually bring either of those. And the Whims would make it so we'd have a lot more aggression, and the Indeedee would make it so they're a lot more defensive. So like an Indeedee Kyogre or like an Indeedee Zacian might be possible. The only reason why I don't think they would bring the Indeedee here is because it really clashes with what the Rilla wants to do. So if you have to bring out the Rilla and then the Indeedee for any reason, it turns off the Rilla terrain, makes so Rilla's not as useful. So we can kind of assume that their 4 are going to be a mixture of Whimsicott, Kyogre, Zacian, and Rilla. And if we know those 4, we can try to plan our game plan around taking those 4 out. So we can completely just disrespect the Regidrago and the Indeedee in the team preview. Like, make it so they don't even have like a chance to do anything. So in this game, again, I'm still kind of learning how to play the team. I'm kind of learning what I want to do. I'm thinking because I don't think they'd want to lead Rilla in any situation, what I can do is go with like a big Venu play, set my Vine Lash, bait the Rilla to come in, and then do something a little bit different. I also kind of just want to... I also just think Venusaur is a good lead versus this team. I think Venusaur is pretty good. Note that we're using Venu with Kyogre. There's no Sunsetter in this team. The Venu's kind of just here, because I think the Vine Lash is still really, really good. And I wanted to have a dot potential, so I can just lead with the bulky Maxmon if I wanted. And I didn't want to use Blastoise, right? So there's the Entity, right? So that means that changes the Deviant from, or that changes like the flowcharts of what we thought, right? So if we see the Entity Kyogre, we know they're going to have Zacian and Rilla. That means they cut out the Whims, which means they cut out their speed control. And so it's really, really important to note. And that also means that this is by far and away the ultimate punish on like that sort of team. Like, oh my gosh, it'd be so good, right? Wonder if Swagger, Scary Face, Grim, Black Glasses, Foul Play, Yveltal. I've done that before. I've done that sort of stuff before. It's a lot of damage. So in this situation, we can kind of do just a bunch of stuff. We can force Follow Me, so we can go for Electro Webs. We're in a really, really good spot, judging by how defensive they want to play this. And if they have to bring out the Rilla in the back with a Zacian, like Lecky can check Zacian, Rilla gets checked by Venusaur, we're in a great spot. So there's the big Venusaur. And again, we don't really care what the Entity's doing. We're going to be dropping its speed too, so even if it was like a faster Entity for some weird reason, it would be slower than the Venu here. Obviously, we should just be forcing Follow Me here. There's the Follow Me. So all we got to do is avoid Scarf Ogre, which, of course, we're going to be able to avoid Scarf Ogre. So Ogre takes tons of damage from that Electro Web in the 2-shot range. And then we get the Vine Lash. And so, like, we're in just a great spot in this situation. It would suck to lose the Alecki to, like, a Mystic Water Spout. Obviously, that wasn't a vested Ogre, so they're probably Mystic Water. But I think trading for the Entity is very, very nice. Like, Venu doesn't take any damage. It sucks the Alecki goes down. All right, gonna dip. Have a good one. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good night. And so it's Orb Ogre, which is pretty popular right now. So there was that damage multiplier. The Orb plus the Vine Lash means that Kyogre's going to go down next turn anyways. And you can see in this situation, yes, we didn't bring Rapidash, but what we did bring is the right Mons to be able to win in the back, I think. So we're going to send our Kyogre out here. You can totally send your Rilla out here if you want, but it's going to be Zacian instead. And I think that this is like a win-win for us as long as we are potentially winning a speed tie. Because right now that Zacian could KO our Venu, or it could do like a ton to our Rilla, but we don't really care which one it is. I was thinking like I wish I could just Max Strike here, but that doesn't work like that. Max Strike would turn into Max Geyser, which is a lot, but I'll just go for the Quake into the Zacian, and we're going to go for the Protect. If you want to pull the trigger and Behemoth Blade this Venu, you totally can, but I think what you're going to be doing is a mixture of like protecting, trying to weave in a little bit more damage, trying to just see what I'm going for. Like, I think the right play for you in the situation is what they're doing. I think they're going for Protect Zacian Thunder into my Kyogre slot. And so my plan here was to put the Zacian within range of the Spout by going for a Quake plus a Vine Lash tick. Remember, the Kyogre's going to be almost ticking out. And then this is going to force the Rilla to come out sooner than they want. And remember, since we're saving our Zacian in the back, if we can trade our Kyogre for their Zacian, I don't care if your last month's Rilla, if my last month's Zacian, so we're in a good spot. So it's a mixture of analyzing the situation, anticipating what our opponent has in the back, and then from there, just taking the sort of trades that can force your opponent to, like, once you get slightly ahead, you can just start trading Pokemon, which is what we're doing right now. So, yeah, no matter what, I think we're pretty okay, because the Zacian's kind of torn. If he goes for the Behemoth Blade and the Venu and gets the KO, he loses himself to a Spout. And if he goes for the Play Rough to weaken my Spout, he'll lose himself to the Max Quake. And he'll still lose the Kyogre. He'll get double KO'd if he, well, he'll go 0 for 2 if he attacks the Ogre slot and doesn't get a crit on the Play Rough. But I think the Behemoth Blade's an okay play. And then from there, it's like, it all comes down to like winning a potential speed tie on Ogre. And I'm using a full speed Timid Ogre, so you could try and win a speed tie, but that's what it would be. It would be a 50% shot to not get absolutely bodied. So there's the Behemoth Blade. I think this is the right play. And also, you need a pretty aggressive Zacian to actually get the KO here. There it is. Now remember, our opponent also has not Dynamaxed. But remember, we already know what their last mon is. And what else could it be? Think about how we set up like the flowcharts here, right? We're gonna double KO here. His ogre's webbed. You're right. No, you're right. His ogre's webbed. Completely, you're right. The ogre was webbed too. It didn't matter anyways. I'm timid. But realistically, what could the last mon be? A mixture of Wims, Rilla, and Reggie Drago. What did we save in the back? Zacian, right? So, easiest game of my life. Not really easiest, but like we won in the team preview. We just got our opponent to bring the exact 4 mons we wanted, and they even deviated and brought something. I'd say they made it easier for us by going NDD than going Wims, because Wims would have made it so we needed a little bit more speed control. We probably would have had to max the ogre instead. Yeah. But we will be taking that one all the way to the bank, yo. And then from here on out, I promise we're going to start using Rapidash. But I just want to show you guys how the team can be played if you can like correctly analyze their team, which I think is pretty important. So let's take a look at this one, right? They have a pretty aggressive squad. One thing to note, for some reason, like we're at like top 2K Master Ball, and they only had 1 restricted. I don't know why. And also think this is funny. People like, they're like, how'd they get to top 1K Master Ball with only 1 restricted? They're probably just using a rental team right here, right? They like you don't have to get all the way up there. You don't have to take the same team to the very top of Master Ball. But yeah, a lot of Ultra Beasts. I think with Cephalon, they probably thought Naganadel was a restricted, realistically, because it's literally that good. But yeah, you see the Naganadel, see a little bit of like Venu Cole with Zard. And so in this situation, gotta remember, what is our team trying to bait? Fire attacks with control. So that means if they have Torkoal, the cool play would be to lead Torkoal. I actually think lead Torkoal Venu is so good against Ogre, because if you lead that, it turns my Ogre off, and then the Ogre has to switch, and that way if you go for the Vine Lash, it's completely free, you're very safe. And so the correct play would probably be to lead the Torkoal, but most people like to bring it in the back and switch it in. Right? Thank you for the follow, TGAGO05. Appreciate it. That Torkoal should be Groudon. It's debatable. That Torkoal gives you a Trick Room matchup. But we know that the Torkoal's going to be coming. We are pretty sure either the Venu or the Zard's going to be coming. We know that the Shadow Rider's going to come. And then from there, it's just a mixture of Blacephalon or Naganadel. I think Blacephalon's okay, but I think Naganadel might come, because let's actually take a look at this, right? If the Venusaur is going to be like a Sleep Powder bot, the Torkoal's going to be the Sunsetter, the Kyrex is going to be the Sweeper. I think the Naganadel is the Max Mon that can apply Airstreams to get your Mons faster than Lecky. So yeah, I would agree. I would say Naganadel's coming, but again, that's just a hunch. And I think that like there's nothing wrong with Blacephalon either. It's just that I think that Naganadel is more common in this situation. Can't have all that fire. I also would agree, and it's not like I have that much Quake damage or anything like that. So we're gonna lock it in. Cool team though. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with this team. They have the potential for like big swings in tempo, like switching in Torkoals, taking away my rain and stuff like that. But I also think like this is a good matchup for Rapidash. I think Rapidash can be really good here. Great versus Venu if played correctly. Decent versus, well, not, it's better than decent versus Cephalon. Rapidash is pretty PogChamp in this sort of matchup. So let's see what they want to do. And we're going to start it off and have a little bit more coffee. And like I said, this is like top 2K Master Ball. I don't know why they just had 1 restricted, but it is what it is. Okay. So let's see what they're going to lead with. I think they do lead Naga. Yeah, so Kali Naga. So we know the Mons in the back are going to be either Torkoal Zard or Torkoal Venu. That's just kind of what we're assuming, judging like based off what they should be bringing to this matchup. I would assume. It's probably not Blacephalon. So we know it's going to be Torkoal and then one of the Mons that pairs with Sun. So Wims Aleki, I want to say I really, really like Wims Aleki. In almost every matchup, I can just go for Tailwind, Web. I can just go Tailwind, Web. I can also like eject button Web if I think they're going to max one of their Mons, right? It's such a cool play. But yeah, if I go Tailwind, Web, I can lose both my Mons and then just bring out with stuff with the Tailwind and they have to switch. It's such a good situation. Yeah, thank you for the follow. First Ned with the big follow. So yep, we go for the Tailwind, we go for the Web. Like, we're in a great spot here. Doesn't really matter what they were doing. Even if they were like airstreaming me or doing all those other weird sort of things, We don't care. We're breaking sashes. We're getting speed control. Even if we lose Mons, I think we're great. So the Astral's coming out here. I actually really like that we're going to lose both our Mons to this Astral. This tells us a couple things. That is a damage multiplier. It could be a spell tag. It could be a life orb if we see a life orb chip, which I don't think that we do. It's more commonly than not, though, probably going to be specs. Because, like I said, we're not using just 2v2 sets. So it's also cool that the Shadow Rider got those boosts instead of a Naganadel, which could have gotten speed boost. But since we know that it's probably specs, like there's a damage multiplier. We don't know if it's spell tag or specs yet, but there is a damage multiplier on that guy. So you can switch in your Torkoal in this situation, but I haven't used my Dynamax. I got a lot of AoE damage and a Rapidash on the back, and I think I'm in a pretty good spot to use it. I was looking at their team right there. I'm like, okay, we see the Torkoal. If you had Ditto, oof, I know, but they probably wouldn't have made that play if I had Ditto. But I'm pretty sure that's a Specs Cali. That's just my opinion. So like, I'm thinking it's probably going to switch because it's big pinned right here. So looks like no switch, and that's completely fine with me. Like, absolutely fine. Does not really matter. Also, the potential specs being on Cali means it's not on Torkoal, which means Torkoal probably has a little bit more support, which means it might have like a Citrus or Lefties or something like that. Just gotta watch out for that. So big max Rapidash, right? We completely sacrificed our lead to see what would happen if we enabled these last two mons to do well. We see the Protect Naga, good play. And I think we just go for the Spout Airstream, right? We're Airstreaming just to continually keep up speed control for when that Venu comes out. Again, if we would have got the double KO here, and they bring out like Torkoal Venu, we would have been at +1. We would have had to protect Kyogre next turn, go for a second Airstream, and then it enables Rapidash to outspeed Venusaur. So that's kind of what our plan would have been in that situation. But you can see we're just going to rinse out that Cali, who did not protect, probably because it was choice spexed. And so in this situation, if you send out the Venu, that tells me a couple things. That tells me you could pivot out the Naga for the Torkoal, which means if I hit the Torkoal, even if it sets Sun, it's going to take a ton of damage. But also, you haven't maxed it either, so they could have like a Koba Venu and just be chilling like this. Last night I found out Blacephalon is a great mixed attacker in this meta. Gets Rock Blast to instant counter Zard. That's cool. Does the Charty Berry only stop on the first move? That's actually really cool. So you see, I think we just go into the Venu slot with the max Airstream, and I think you do need to be Airstreaming here. I want to talk about this because they switch in the Torkoal, they activated the Sun, which is what we were talking about. So I could have just went for the Flare Blitz into the Venu. What I would have done here if I were them, if the correct play here I think would be to protect Venu or max guard Venu, fodder the Torkoal, right? And then just bring back out the Naga, unspeed dropped. You're wasting my Tailwind turns, you're getting Naga out of its Electro Web pin, and the Venu there, if you max guard, it turns off my ability to Airstream, and then I can't actually catch your Venu with my Rapidash without wasting my last max turn. So I think it would have been a really, really good play to just max guard that turn. But you can see, Flare Blitz, max Flare would have just KO'd it. But it's fine. I like this play too because this allows me to be a bully the next turn. So we get the big Airstream Rapidash, and we Policy Proc. Holy moly. Holy moly. Spout's not going to do a ton of that Venu, but look how much damage does the Torkoal. Just one-shots that Torkoal. Holy moly. Charcoal Torkoal probably going down. And you can see, yes, they get the Vine Lash. Yes, they hit the Kyogre. But I want you guys to understand this, right? What's the play here? Because right now, we have 2 Airstreams. We outspeed that Venu. Quite a bit, actually. So if you're ever in this situation and you are the opponent, what do you do in this situation? What would you do if you were me, by the way? What do you do? We have Max Flare. We can KO either of them with Max Flare. I want you to see that I hit the Naganadel slot. Why would I hit the Naganadel slot with the Max Flare? 2 reasons. That Venu could totally max guard. The more common reason, Naganadel, why is it on the team? Right? Why is it on the team? He's probably going some sort of like speed control with Naga. The Venu does protect. I'm playing around Ally Switch by making this play. I think the reason why Naga was even on the team was Ally Switch. And so the Protect Venu, basically what I wanted to say was in those situations, just double attack. I also think that like there could have been arguments made for me hitting Venu, because if I take out Venu, Naga can't do anything because I have the speed control to KO Naga next turn. But I wanted to cover the Ally Switch. They went for the Protect play instead. We got the ultimate punish. Yes, we're out of max turns, but like Rapidash ain't no slouch. We got that big +2 speed. Who even cares about Chlorophyll? And the Flare Blitz, baby. And we'll be taking those, right? We will be taking those. We definitely could have lost that one. They could have just thrown a max Quake. We would have lost. But I wanted to play an ally switch. We also accidentally played around the protect play, and we'll take it. We'll just take those wins. Rapidash busted. Big busted Rapidash. Should have bounced to flex. There was also definitely an argument to make for bounce. Definitely an argument to make for bounce. I just didn't want to. So let's go into this game. We can see they have a little bit of Wheezing Gigas. I think Wheezing Gigas is still really good, but I definitely think there's ways to play around it. So you see I have Speed Control, Wheezing Gigas. There's two flowcharts that you can always do against Wheezing Gigas teams. The flowchart where they don't use the Wheezing Gigas, and in that case, their 4 mons are Kyogre, Lecky, Wims, Shadow Rider. 3 mons that could potentially hold a Sash, and 1 mon that can hold any item in the game, Kyogre. Isn't that my team? Is it? I don't think so. I don't think that's my team. I mean, I've used those 6, but I don't think it's, like, mine. It's just a very standard 6 for those. And then from there, there's the flowchart where they bring Gigas. And the Giga, it would go, like, Gigas, Wheezing, and then probably Shadow Rider, Ogre, just because they still bring their restricteds. Every once in a while, you see a Wims get weaved in there, but, like, for the most part, I think we're kind of okay against almost everything this team has to throw. Because I think Wims is just really good here. If they don't lead Wheezing, I can just Prankster, enable Lucky. Remember what we did last game. You just enable, you get Tailwind and Electro Web. It breaks Sashes, it gets you extra speed control, and then Tailwind up, which will allow the Ogre to come out in the back and sweep, right? And then if they lead Wheezing Gigas, what you can actually just do is just give the Gigas an eject button and just laugh at it. It's the funniest thing ever. So, yeah, I think eject button is still really good. I think eject button is still really, really good, and more people should definitely use eject button. I know it's super degenerate, but like, we gotta force people to respect the classics, right? You gotta force them to respect. They're definitely still thinking. I'll give them some time to think. I'll sip on some coffee. But yeah, I think that like Whimsilecky, very, very underrated as a lead in a restricted format, just because it's a lead that doesn't require restricteds, that enables your restricted to do really, really well in the back. But if they lead that, you EO for the trick. Oh, definitely. You definitely do it, but that's a good example of kind of how this team works, right? You don't need to win the game that turn. If I go for an E-Web, I'm going to chunk your Wheezing, chunk your Gigas, and that's going to make your Gigas slower than anything I want to bring in the back, which means I don't need Tailwind. Right? And so by going for the switcheroo, yes, you can KO one of my mons, but then I just bring out Ogre and you're stuck there with a max Gigas that's at -1, and I just go spout and win the game. Do you already see it happening? It's like, what do you actually do? And if you hit the Lecky, which is probably the correct play, Wims just goes for the D-Wim and it's fine. And then not only if you hit the Lecky here, actually it doesn't matter what you hit, because like we're able to go for the we're able to go for the spout next turn. It's easy, and depending on what you actually use, we're able to go for so many other things. I think like this turn, like believe it or not, I would have liked like a Protect Gigas Sludge Bomb Wims. That would have been a really, really good play. But if you do that, you're opening up a slot for my Kyogre to come out, so it's still a loss. You're still gonna lose, right? Max Wheezing, bruh. Yeah, it's not my team. I don't have shiny Gigas, so it's not my rental code. I also like the Fairy Wheezing more than the regular Wheezing. So they're maxing Gigas, right? And if there's someone that knows how to play the Gigas matchup, it'd be professional Pokemon player, user of the Wheezing Gigas with the highest points at Milwaukee Regionals. That's a +1. So big Gigas, right? Pretty good Pokemon, last time I checked. But not in this matchup. I think the best thing Gigas would bring here is like a Wide Guard, and it's not even doing it because it's maxed. So good damage there. It's very, very good damage for us. Remember, our transistor is turned off, so it's actually still really good damage. And yeah, just give it the switcheroo. Remember, my prankster's turned off, so we have to go off our base speed, which is completely fine. I'll take your orb. I'll give you an eject button. You're going to KO one of my mons. You can hit the other, but like literally, this is a perfect example of how high progression works. You take a very, very slight lead, right? And it enables you to run away with it. The game just starts snowballing out of control. Yes, we have to eat a Sludge Bomb here. It's not the end of the world, even if we get poisoned, because we're rocking that bulky Lecky set. See, we do get poisoned, literally unlucky. I think Sludge Bomb's a 30% chance, so it's completely fine. So in this situation, we just come out with the boy, big Kyogre energy. And they're like, what do you do? Like, what do you even do? I think the right play here is probably protect Gigas and fodder Weezing, right? We have it in an early stream. Yes, we are. So we're looking at our team. We don't even need to stay in with the Lecky. We just want the Lecky to switch because we don't want to get like weighted out on. Remember, Lecky's at -1, so I need to save my Lecky in the back to be able to repin the Shadow Rider. But realistically, depending on if they max guarded here, and I went like for Electro, but I'd still be outspeeding Kyogre, right? So I could hit the Gigas, force it out, and then whatever they bring in would just get one-shotted by a Spout. So that'd be a super cool thing, but I do think it's probably smarter to save the Lecky in the back. Crazy on Pokemon 30% is such a high chance. It is. It's a super high chance. It's ridiculous. So there's the max guards, which means they did the right play. And I also did the right play. Remember, I still haven't maxed out or done anything crazy. So I'm able to finish off the Weezing here. Yeet. And now Gigas is big sad. And we're just in an absolutely amazing spot. Like, there's not really anything our opponent can do in this situation. Yes, we don't have, like, Tailwind or anything weird like that. But we've saved our Lecky in the back to be able to repin the Shadow Rider. We can max the Ogre if we want. Now Rain's active. Like, we're just in a really, really good spot. And whatever we hit Gigas with next turn is going to force it out. So let's see what they want to bring in. Is it Shadow Rider time or Kyogre time? Because you don't want to bring your Kyogre out here. I got a Venu in your face. So it has to be Shadow Rider. Which is great. Like, Shadow Rider's not that good in this situation, in my opinion. And there's the Unnerve. And so here, I don't remember if I Origin Pulse. I should. Do I max? It's a greedy play. I think you just click Origin and Vine Lash. Yep. And you still got to hit the Gigas here. I think the right play for them could be a mixture of like Protect Shadow Rider and try and go for a max strike to get some speed control and stuff like that. How does Slow Start work after Weezing fainted? It activates Slow Start. So now Gigas is slow for 5 turns. So it's you're ultimately punished if Weezing goes down. And if I'm able to hit this Origin Pulse, it's going to force out their Gigas. And I'd like to get a kill on their Shadow Rider this turn too. Yeet. Big Venu energy. Even if you have like a Psyshock or Expanding Force, like we're fine on this Venu set. So Astral's completely okay. All we have to do is hit our Origin Pulse. We do be hitting the Origin Pulse. Now note, I just want to talk about this. I probably should have doubled into the Gigas and just clocked that Kyogre on the come out, right? But I wanted to actually do the damage to Shadow Rider. I think this is a misplay. I think I could have played this more optimally and just one-shotted the Venu the Kyogre on the switch in with the Vine Lash. So it's my fault because like the Vine Lash is gonna stick, but also I want to do it like this. I wanted to be able to get the Cali off the board, right? Because like let's say I missed that Origin on the Cali. I wanted to get the Cali like low enough to where we could like go for a double protect and have 2 ticks of Vine Lash take out the Cali. Because like we're still gonna be fine here. We have the big max Venu. Best thing they have is the Gigas, which can come out in Wide Guard, and then they can't Wide Guard away the Vine Lash, so we're fine. Seeing Venusaur in any form gives me joy. Yeah, Venusaur is so good. Venusaur is like literally goated with the sauce. One of the best Pokemon ever made. But yeah, in this situation, there's not that much they can do. We have Vine Lash ticking. We can just click Origin Pulse, click the Vine Lash. Even if it's like a vested Ogre, I think it goes down after like the next Vine Lash tick. And like I said, the best thing they can probably do is Wide Guard, which we do see right there. So shout out to them using the Pro Player Wide Guard tech. OP baby. And thank you guys for joining me. Early stream. It's still super early. What does Rapidash do? Bunch of stuff. Rapidash does a bunch of cool stuff. We already maxed it once and won a game. Yeah, look at that. Big damage. And yeah, the Gigas used Wide Guard, so we still have to do one more turn. But we are going to be able to get this. Yeah, I think Rapidash is very fun. And especially with all the, like, the Kartanas and stuff running around right now. So many Kartanas running around to check Kyogres. Rapidash is a pretty decent pin to those. At a +1, it can outspeed Zacian. It can also get itself a +1 with an Airstream. I'm making a Trick Room, trying Heliolisk. I actually have a video talking exclusively about Heliolisk and how even under its best circumstances, it's not a good Pokemon. That's just me. That's a cool video. So we take out the Gigas, big Spout. When in doubt, Spout out. And bye-bye, Gigas. Better luck next time. We do be taking those. Okay, we have a few more games to show off. You can see this game. Look at that team. Zekrom Kyogre. This tells me it could be Special Zek. But let's think about what else they're going to bring. Probably the 2 restricteds. And then, like, I don't know if you bring Moltres here. We have too many Fairy-mons, right? We have too many Fairy-mons, so I don't think Moltres comes. Just my opinion. I don't know what they would want to do with Uxie. So, like, realistically, I think they'd bring, like, Grim Coco. I think Coco Zek could be really, really good. Again, I don't know if it's physical or special Zek. We have no idea. But in this situation, I think we're okay going into it with, like, basically the same stuff we've been doing the whole time. And man, I am still so tired. How am I going to get used to, like, waking up at, like, 4:30 every single day so I can stream? This is probably the best time to stream, too. Like, gets a lot of new people involved. We already got, like, a good amount of follows today. I already got a couple of subs and stuff like that. So it's look like it's a pretty good stream time. I just got to, like, actually wake up. Maybe I got to, like, have stronger coffee. Yeah, I just need to wake up. How weird is it that languages exist? You make all these weird noises and all of us watching know what you're communicating. Oh man, that's too next level for this early in the morning. Wow. So we see Coco Zek, and I think this, again, we don't know if it's physical or special, but I do like this lead for us because we can just go for the same thing that we've been doing this whole time, right? Do you see how we're baiting these sort of cores into thinking they can get away with this stuff? We can just go for Tailwinds. We go for Switcheroos too. I think the Switcheroo play is also really good. Yeah, this time, yeah, I like this. Instead of just going for the Tailwind Electro Web, we just go for the Tailwind Switcheroo. Or sorry, the Switcheroo Electro Web. I like this, right? It seems super, super safe. You have so much freedom with this lead to go for safe Tailwinds, Electro Webs, Switcheroos, what have you. And obviously something like Zek is going to Dynamax on the first turn. If not, that's fine. What else would it do? Dragon Dance? Cool, it's gone. You know, I got rid of it. So yeah, we're in a good spot. Big Switcheroo energy. And another cool thing about the Switcheroo here is not just the Switcheroo. We're using Electro Web, right? So that's going to make that Coco now slower than our Ogre. So Zek's goodbye. Bye-bye now. And Air Balloon pop on the Coco. We know it wasn't Sash or anything like weird like a Scarf or anything. And we just peace out the Zek. You can bring whatever you want. I'm trying to remember what the Coco did. I think the Coco just gleamed, realistically. I don't remember, though. So let's see what they're going to do. Moltres. So I was really surprised to see Moltres. I remember that. I was like, why would you send this out? I have a Lecky. And so they electroed me back, which I was really surprised to see. But it's not the end of the world. Because we can just Tailwind and stuff like that. I think Tailwind is good. I don't want to max a Lecky that's at -1. I really liked a double team with Swampert, Sapsipper, Girafarig. Yo, we used Girafarig in BDSP. That was fun. Yeah, in this situation, you can just Tailwind. And I'm looking at this. I'm really thinking about just going for a Raw Thunder. I think it's fine to just go for the Electro Web. Because, again, you just want to make sure that they're always slower to enable the Kyogre to come out in the back and just rinse it up. So, yes, this is going to proc up Berserk. Yes, that's a problem. But this just does a really, really good job about maintaining speed control, which I think is the right way to play this matchup. So, more Electro Web energy right there. Big Berserk. Doesn't really matter if they go for Fire Wrath or whatever they're going to do. We're fine. So, there's another Electro Web back. I think they Fire Wrath, right? So, they'll lose the Lecky this turn. But yeah, Girafarig is a cool mon. I think it's definitely underrated. And so, our Wims is at neutral, basically. There's the Fiery Wrath. Yeet. And the Lecky, Whimsicot's going to get Livin. And we just bring out Ogre. What do you have in the back? You have a Zek that has no item. You have these two goons. And, like, this is absolutely fine. We have a Zacian ready, willing, and able to clean up. Know that this team has Zacian and hasn't realistically had to use it. Zacian is just bait to influence the mons that we want them to use. Like, realistically, this Zacian set that doesn't even have player up isn't even that good in this matchup, but it's fine. So in this situation, we do want to bring the Zacian in just because we want to be able to reapply our Tailwind in a couple turns, and we don't want to leave our Wims on the board to do that. We can just click a Spout. So we get a free switch into Zacian, a double KO potentially, and then from there, we just have the speed control that we need. So there's the Zacian. I still think they should make a Zacian Calyrex form, where Calyrex rides on Zacian, gets Behemoth Blade. Imagine if, like, Zacian had Intrepid Sword, Unnerve, and, like Grimnay, or whatever the Ice Rider ability is. I remember seeing my first draft rig too. Yeah, it's crazy. Can you imagine though? Intrepid Sword and like Beast Boost with Intimidate, or sorry, with Unnerve. No, give Zacian Intimidate. You just give it that. Give it Intimidate as well. So there's the Zek, and like in reality, like what's it gonna do here? We haven't even maxed yet, and we see their Kyogre, so it's restricted all around. And in this situation, I think because we have speed control, we're able to just be bigger bullies. We can kind of just ignore Zek, I think. I'm thinking about which one I want to use. I think you just go for the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword into Kyogre is going to be stronger than a resisted Behemoth Blade. And so I think you... Do I max here? No way. Am I just that goated? Yeah, I think you Sacred Sword the Ogre and Spout is the right play. That works too. There's nothing wrong with that. That's also a good play. But I guess I'm playing with all the knowledge that I already know at the end. Quick Attack Zacian, Big Brain Tech. I like Quick Attack Zacian. It's good. I'd be okay if the new game didn't have a gimmick. I think I'd prefer that. I would also prefer that. I'm not a big fan of gimmicks. Like, my favorite gimmick is gems, which, like, are definitely balanced in my opinion. They're so balanced they were removed. You know why? Do you know why gems were removed? Like, realistically, it's because, like, I don't think people would have used Z moves. Maybe, like, one? Is the one Raichu and Sword and Shield? It is, actually, yeah. Like, I think gems, the fact that you can use a bunch of different ones, and you can use them, like, when you feel like it, and it doesn't have to do that much, and also lose it, when you use your gem, you lose the item, so you take less knockoff damage. I think, like, gems are better than Z moves, almost. So, yeah. That's my opinion. I love gems. Gems are so good. Normal gems still... The normal gems are 1.3, guys. They used to be a 1.5. They used to be a 1.5. And they were super balanced because you had to, like, if you had like a tech move that you needed 1.5 to use in a certain matchup and you had to use that move before the matchup existed, before they sent out the Mon to use it on, like, the gem made it so you'd waste it if they protected or switch or mitigated the damage. Z moves you choose when you use it. Gems are, you have to use it. So this is a game. Look at this. Because we don't have any Intimidators, that Zapdos, we don't have to care about it. Gastrodon can be a potentially good Mon here, but wow, we have a lot of Mons like Whimsicott V who would potentially pin it, so it's not that big of a deal. Into the redirection, we've already shown into that's no big deal. Another cool thing that we see here is the Shadow Rider Solgaleo. What did we do in the very first game of the day? We saw Shadow Rider, we saw Solgaleo, we went for that eject button tech, it was super good. Landorus can be an okay Mon versus our team, but White Kyogre's fine. You want a G-Max Mega Evolution Z-Move gimmick. Oh my gosh. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Gem boosted Max Geyser from an Ogre Spout? That used to be super common, you know? Back in, like, what year was... I mean, in Ubers for singles that was common, but, like, that would have been illegal since, like, 2009. Smogon Seals, I think Z-Crystals are better because you take reduced damage from knockoff. Everything has knockoff. Yeah, that's the thing, but you take reduced damage from knockoff when you don't have an item, too. That's the thing. So, Solgaleo Calyrex, we already saw this one, right? I don't know why there's so many of these that think they can get away with this, but in this game, we're going to lead with a different lead, because we want to bait them. Like, we want them to think that that's the play. Like, we're like, please just click. Like, if you bulldoze, you proc your Solgaleo policy, you make the Zacian slower than the Soul, and then you max Quake the Zacian, it looks like the best play in the world. In the world. And it's not. It's really bad. And so I'm doing everything in my power to bait this. Oh, it's so good, right? Like, please don't click Bulldoze. Oh, no. Oh, no. I would lose so hard if you clicked Bulldoze. Look at me and my defenseless little Zacian. Like, I led with the most juiciest of baits. And then I'm seeing the Soul Max, and I'm just reading the writing on the wall. I know it. I know this is what you're about. That's one of the reasons why I love doing, like, recordings like this. Like, you can tell throughout the recordings of these videos, I just play with more and more and more and more confidence in every single game. I don't gotta worry about snipers. There's the Protect, so no Bulldoze yet. Hey, that's fine. Like, hey, shoot your shot. I can't do anything about that. And so there's the switcheroo. But I think, like, I'm able to make cooler plays. We take the policy, Behemoth Blade goes into the Cali, but remember, if you take the Zacian here, that's fine, because we can just Encore the Cali. So we're still in a good spot. So that was a good play. And also, Steel Spike in that slot, like, you didn't get the policy proc, so, like, we don't have to care. So we can go for, like, D-Gleam, we can go for so many different things. I can also just go for, like, hit the Soul, Encore the Cali now. Or I can do a bunch of other stuff like that. That's why I think BDSP is fun, no gimmicks. Yeah, I agree. I would agree. New gimmick. One of your Pokemon at any point in the game will use Memento at least once per battle. Oh, man. Just Encore, or not Encore, Metronome Explosion. So there's the Encore right here. I think Encore is so busted. So have fun using Protect for a bit. And we can just take out that Soul whenever we feel like it. They do get the double Protect. Literally never lucky. Never, ever lucky. Behemoth Blade dealing double damage into the Soul Glow here. Not going to be doing a ton. I thought about it. I was like, he got a Steel Spike. It might have been better to go for the Sacred Sword, but, like, this is fine. We're just going to switch it out anyways. And now the Cali, like, is a juicy target. We can go for Tailwinds. We have a policy on our limbs, which I think I'm going to try and get onto one of my other Pokemon. But the fact that we waste our Max here is, like, we're just in such a good spot wasting Max. And there's Zap. I was really surprised to even see the Zap in this matchup. Just because, like, we don't have any Intimidators for them to proc off of. And so I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Do I just win? Like, Behemoth Blade, definitely going to still go after... Do I go after the Cali or the Zap? Yeah, I don't mind going after Zap in this situation. Because you could go after the Cali slot and catch whatever switches in here. It's probably going to be Gastro or Soul. There's the Soul. Because Cali's Protect was on cooldown. And it was Encored. So I was surprised to see a Blaze Kick. I don't really know why that's even there. But, like, we have a really bulky Zacian set. I think any other Zacian that would have gotten the KO. We're able to finish off the Zap here. And then we can still just Tailwind away if we want. Speaking of Encore, I was looking at making an Encore Calyrex Shadow team. I think it's the fastest non-prankster Encore Mon. Seems like it could be cool since some of Cali's only use Astral Barrage for attack. It gets Encore and Disable too, which are both really good. Yeah, I love Encore Cali Shadow. It's probably one of my favorite sets. So I would highly recommend it. We used to have Metronome Cups. Like, you can play Metronome Cup. I know people are talking about, like, Metronome style ranked games. So there's the Cali's back. Back again. Guess who's back? Tell a friend. And in this situation, we don't even know anything about the Cali set, but, like, we don't really have to care anymore. I think we just pop a Tailwind, and even if we lose both these mons, we just bring out Ogre in the back and just sweep them up. I think you just hit the Cali, and that's fine. And so we're assuming it's going to be Sash Cali here. And we just go for the Tailwind. Go for the big Deeps. And I think I actually Oko here, which I was surprised to Oko. Because it had Protect, which means it's not choiced. Which means that's probably like spell tagged. Because it's not scarfed, it's not spexed, it had Protect. So I don't know what item that was, but like I'll take it. It really didn't matter to me. We do be taking those all the way to the bank. And then poor Zacian, that's fine. I think like realistically, Whimsicott's probably more of a threat. It can reapply Speed Control. I can also now, I think we go with the Rapidash here just to flex, but like I really wanted to switcheroo and give my Rapidash this policy to bait the EQ. I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad. I knew the Gastron was potentially the last mon, so like I didn't want to just send out Ogre. I didn't want to get wide guarded. Like imagine if I sent out Ogre there and I went for a Dynamax, Max Geyser, they sent out Gastron, I'm super sad. And if I just go for the Spout, they just wide guard me and I lose. So I think that like going into, yeah, look at this play. I totally should have switcherooed my Rapidash, given it a policy to soak the damage from like an Earth Power on the Gastro, but I think this is fine. Ghost Rider. Felt pretty clever. I believe it. Channel your inner Nicolas Cage. And so, big Rapidash. Back at it once again. You can Protect. You can do whatever you want. Like, we got the damage. We can Encore that guy too. Like, the Encore memes. They're just so good. Free damage on the Gastro with Degoom is going to be really nice. Huntyman dropping the Prime sub. 8 months. Thanks for all the great content on that 2-month streak, yo. Thank you. Appreciate it. We do be loving to see it. Every single sub helps me out so much more than you could possibly know. Let's put some subs up. Sub Club. Bam. Big sub energy. There's the EP. I should have given myself a policy. I should have done it. Thank you for the sub, though. We see the leftovers in the Gastro. It's absolutely fine. I wonder how the game design would fundamentally change, like, the chance-based effects in game from Poke moves increased in chance over time if you were to hold, like, Hypnosis. That could be, I could see that being an item. There's an item called a Metronome that gives you a 1.1 boost if you use the same move over and over and over again. So I could see a very similar move happening with like an item, increase your accuracy by 1.1 every turn if you use the same move. That'd be cool. But yeah, I do give the weakness policy this turn. They went for the Protect on the Gastro, so we're going to KO the Soul, and then we also can just KO the Gastro, but they protect it, so we just encore it. People are saying the new gimmick is going to be something about changing a Pokemon type during battle or something like that. Do you think that'll be balanced? I mean, never. Balance is fleeting. But yeah, we win by basically everything here. We can just go for the Encore or the Dazzling Gleam, basically. It's better just to go for the Encore, though, because you can just Encore and weave in a Dazzling Gleam every other turn. Yeah, Max Flare is, I think, more damage. Yep, Max Flare is more damage. Sun Boosted Stab Max Flare. Pop off, Gastrodon. Game Freak can barely balance duo typing. I know, right? I know. So big Max Flare, big Rapidash. We're literally out here beating people with Rapidash. First time for everything. Alright, so the Protect's going to go up next turn. And there's just no way that they actually get through this. So I'll take it. And I think this is the last game that I played with this team. I think. Yeah. But you can see, like, there's not really any way that they'd be able to ever do anything. Gonna head to bed now. Had fun. Peace. Well, thank you for stopping by. We didn't get to go for any cool ally switch memes, but we did bait the correct mons in almost every game. And I think that the cool thing about this team, right, was that it showed the value of conditioning your opponents in the team preview and the value that you can get off of speed control. A lot of our games we won by going with a mixture of like Whims and Aleki. If we go Whims Aleki, we can go for Tailwind Electro Web to enable our Kyogres and Venusaurs to sweep in the back. But we can also go for like Switcheroo Electro Webs, which are just really, really good at getting rid of turn 1 Maxmons. So not only are we potentially dealing with our Maxmon, we're gaining speed control, and we're setting up for something like Kyogre to win. I think it's super, super good. Rapidash is used as bait a lot, but it's also a really cool Maxmon in this situation. It gets Airstream, and in a late game situation, like you saw in a couple of the games that I played, we're able to go for those late game Airstreams to re-give that speed control back to our Kyogre, back to the Zacian, and even if you run out of Tailwind turns on something like on your Whimsicott or something, Rapidash can be a good mon for helping you regain tempo in matchups where you might have lost it a little bit earlier.